Hey guys and girls, it's Daniel Walsh from Your Property Wealth. Today I'm here to talk about the debate houses versus units. A lot of people, when they're buying an investment property, they don't know what to buy. They don't know whether to buy a unit, they don't know whether to buy a house or even a townhouse. And I guess that what you need to be really looking at is before you're buying anything, you need to be looking at what is in demand in the area, because that is key to what's going to be in demand for rental and what's going to be in demand later on for when you sell that property. Now, I am a big believer of houses, and the reason being is I know that when I buy a house with land content, I know that that's going to become more scarce as population grows, and as the population grows, the population is going to grow out. What we're going to see is we're going to see a lot of young professionals grow up and have families, and once they have families, they're going to move out to the suburbs where they can afford a house with a backyard. So that's why I like houses. And the other thing with houses is you can look at different things in terms of subdividing, you can look at renovating. Your house is unique. So what happens is when you buy a house, it's generally not the same, especially if it's an existing house. It's different square meterage, it's a different layout inside. And what happens is a lot of people get emotional to that when they buy it off you later down the track. And the same thing for when they rent the property. They're going to rent this property from you because they like the property. Whereas if you go into a unit, let's say, and they've built 50 units, and they're all the same, then what happens is there's no point of difference between you and the other unit, and it's very hard to rent that. And it's very easily for those units to become oversupplied. So when it comes down to picking a unit, you really need to be careful where you're actually choosing that unit. You need to be making sure that there's going to be no oversupply, because a lot of these off the plan new units are all cookie cutter units. And what actually happens is we're seeing 20, 30 of these vacant at one time because there's an oversupply in rentals, no one wants to buy them, and that's what's happening with the unit market. We're seeing that majority are all around Australia at the moment, so you've got to be careful on what type of dwelling you buy. So if you're looking for, say, a unit, what you need to be looking for in units is scarcity. So maybe a really small block of units, maybe 4 units, 6 units, 8 units, the old red brick type of units that have got really no facilities in them, but they might be unique in terms of the position and where they're at. And the same thing with the area that you choose these units for, making sure that there's maybe a height restriction in the area so that they can't build these big towers all around you and making then an oversupply of units in the area. So when it comes to units, you have to be very particular in where you buy the unit and making sure that there's not going to be an oversupply, because it's very easy to oversupply units, and it's very easy to make units all look the same. When it comes to houses, I believe that houses are going to be more scarce over the next 10, 15 and 20 years. We're going to be running out of land. If you buy closer into a CBD, within an hour of a CBD, generally what's going to happen is the population will keep moving out. As it moves out, it's going to fill up all the land all the way through from 10 minutes out to an hour out. And as that happens, we're going to have more scarcity of land, and the land's going to rise. As they say, houses depreciate, or buildings depreciate, and land appreciates. And that's exactly what you need to be doing. You need to be buying land and house, because that is going to be what grows in the future. So when it comes to picking houses or units, you need to be very careful when it comes to units, picking something that's very scarce and not going to be in a big tower or oversupplied, and also making sure that it doesn't have stuff like pools and doesn't have lifts and all that type of thing, because the stratas become extremely high when you have all of these amenities in the complex, and they all need to be serviced and kept onto in terms of maintenance. So you need to be careful in that respect. But if you do pick a unit, make sure that that unit's going to be in demand in the area for not only rent, but also for reselling value later down the track. And the same with houses. You need to be pick something that's going to be scarce later on down the track, or even if it's scarce now, making sure that you get really good value and something that you can maybe do something with later on. You might be renovating it, you might be looking to subdivide it, or it might be just in a really good location in terms of near transport and shops and stuff like that. So it's not really a debate about houses versus units. It's more about looking at the individual property for what it is and seeing if that is going to be in demand for you down the track in terms of rental plus sale. Anyway, guys, I hope you like my videos. And until next time, guys, have a great day.